It's Arturia's 25th birthday, and to celebrate, they've released this. It's the Astrolabe. And it's not just a VST in a box, it's 30 VSTs in a box. That's almost all of the V collection plus pigments. And we've got hands-on control of 4 macros plus the effects. And this can all be controlled through the bundled Astrolab Pro software. Plus, there's a really nice quality 5-octave keybed, a 320 pixel color screen inside the rotating bezel and selector, and it's also got great connectivity with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth and USB connections, stereo audio inputs, and 4 foot pedal control inputs. There's even an iOS app called Astrolab that you can connect with the synth's own Wi-Fi hotspot or through your local network. And this is all housed in a futuristic looking case with "Would you like end cheeks?" and it's got a pretty space-aged minimalist chic about it, and it wouldn't look out of place in here, or in here, or in here, or in somewhere like this, the sci-fi future of the 70s, sticking with the Astrolabe theme on MoonBASS Alpha. And the first thing you notice when you're trying to get out the box is quite how heavy it is. It weighs in at a hefty 10 kilograms, and I guess that's because there's some serious computing hardware in here to get the most out of those emulations. And the next thing you notice when you go to plug it in is that it's got an external PSU, but Arturia have started adding safety measures so you don't accidentally pull it out during a gig. We've got this screw on the power supply. The audio fuse has something like this as well, and these are really very welcome indeed. And it did say it's got most of the V collection in here, and that's because some of the legacy, 5 or 6 of the legacy instruments aren't working, like version 1, version 2 of the Prophet 5. We've got the later versions, they work. However, some of the much later versions aren't working in here yet. If you watch this a few months down the line, maybe they will. But the Mini V4, for example, isn't working in here, but the Mini V3 is. So not all of the sounds in Astrolabe are working in here, but you do get access to about 7,000 of them. On board, you've got 1,300 presets that we access using this rotating bezel here. So we've got different types of instruments, bass, keys, lead, and we can also select them across here. If we go back, we can select different instruments. So here's all the onboard instruments. Lots of nice vintage bits and bobs, analog, digital, samplers, and the rest of it. I'll just flick through there so you can get an overview of what they've got in there. So if we click on, I don't know, let's go to the Prophet 5, for example, click it. It's also clickable, this button, so we've got organs or... So you're getting access to all those beautiful tones that you can get on the V collection. And one thing I have noticed while I've been playing this is quite how extensive that is and quite how good these emulations are actually, because it's not often you sit down and just sort of play through them, but with this, it's been really good fun. If I go back into here, then we can look at these artist presets. These are really nice. So we've got just sort of emulations of various tracks by various people or various tones by various people. So boards of tribute. And you'll notice there that when we change presets, the older sound sort of continues. It doesn't just cut off immediately. That's very nice. What else have we got in here? Oh, this air tribute. This is nice. Got some nice little tones in here. I'm not going to try and play the tracks because I can't quite remember anything, but... really nice the way the sound works. Does sound like an old vintage unit, doesn't it? These are nice, these Selena strings. Beautiful. What else have we got? Oh, some Beatles. What have we got on the Beatles? Let It Be organ. something like that anyway. Strawberry flute. Almost. Come Together Roads. What else? Desmond's piano. Oh, these are nice. Don't know what song they're from, maybe She's Leaving Home or something. What else have we got? I Am the Walrus, some more piano. All nice again. Aphex tribute. There's some nice little rhythmic stuff in here. What's this one on a synthy? Very deep and moody. A rhythmic sequence, this was it, I think. Rhythmic stuff as well then. Actually, let's take a look at the instruments themselves. So go back into the instruments. There was some nice stuff. Oh, proper VS, this has got some really nice bits on it. Very nice indeed. Just giving you an overview really of sort of things we've got in here. What's that? Stillant tremors. And obviously you can see there we've got two instruments because we've got part 1 and we've got part 2, and we can go and edit them, shift and edit. I'll show how this works in a minute, but let's get back again and back again. To go back to home, shift and back. Well, let's keep on looking at the instruments. Maybe look at, I don't know. Emulator. All gone a bit south. Airport voices. I think this is part of the Eno collection. If we go back into the artists, we go to Brian Eno. If we had a look at boards of tribute, yeah, these are nice, some of these. Eno tribute. So there's the airport voices again, airport brass. Got some nice ones on Gorillas, I seem to remember. Go back into Gorillas. Dirty Harry drum kit. So that's using the emulator, and again, go back into the emulator, and we'll take a look at some drums perhaps. So this is the same drum kit categorized into instrument rather than artist. I don't have the syncopation to do that. And each of these instruments has got a different amount of polyphony, well, depending on the instrument itself. And this is from the manual, so some have got 8 voices like the Jupiter 8, the Mellotron, the Modulaire, the Matrix 12 have got 12, the 2600, the CMI, the CS8 have got 16, and the pianos, the clavinets and the organs have got 48. So obviously these synths take up a hell of a lot more of processing power than a stage piano, for example. But even though you're limited to 8 voices, we do have the 2 parts. So if I go into one of my favorites, which is this little one I made for you earlier, 2 Jupiter 8s. So and this has been split. So if I unsplit it, it's now layered. So if I play 8 notes, I've got a foot pedal on this, by the way. That's how I'm holding everything on. You can hear we're getting note stealing. If we're into split mode, the split point here is at C. So we're getting 8 down here and 8 up here. So "16 voices of Jupiter." So you can double your polyphony if you're on it. And just to show you, we do have hold here, so I can do that without using a foot pedal. So as we're messing around with all these bits and bobs here, let's just take a look at the interface, shall we? So yeah, in the center, we've got this rotating bezel, and you select things with it as well. Got a back button. Shift and back takes you home, and shift takes you to these light gray labels here. So shift and ARP, for example, we'll put hold on or off. Shift and chord, we'll put the scale on. So we do have scales on here. And if we go in and select stuff, so go into the rocks. Back will take you back to whatever, all the way back to the home screen. We've got this shift button for secondary functions and some more in-depth functions, but shift and R will put hold on, shift and chord, we'll put the scale on, and we've got a long press, and that opens up menus. So ARP, hold the ARP, and we get the ARP menu. So hold, type, and then we click on that, up and down and down, and back, octave range, and down. So it's actually a really intuitive menu. Holding chord mode brings up the chord menu. So we've got different scale types. Let's put the chord on. Different chord types. We could put a custom one in there. So let's go hold chord and play something. That's nice. Ah, beautiful, that, isn't it? Lovely. Here we've got a little looper. I don't know if I've got anything recorded in that yet, but for shift and tempo, let's have a look. We've got counting, tempo sync. We've got the loop length, got it at 4 bars at the minute, metronome on or off. Let's put the metronome on so we can hear what we're doing, and let's record something. Have we got a counting on? Yep. Okay, get four beats. Moving a bit further over to the right then, we've only got 4 macro knobs for editing the tones: brightness, timbre, time and movement. And these are generally filter, resonance, envelope, time and LFO, but not necessarily. It depends on the patch. Looking at the software then, we can see the blue link sign at the top means that we're linked to the synth. Well, let's take a look at what we've got. If we come all the way down here, this is what's loaded on the synth itself. So there's the patch bank that I loaded. Come into sound banks. There we go. And I loaded this in using the software. So here are all those presets that are now on the synth, saved on the synth itself. And I've created a song there called Unison and put the unison tones in there. So you can load them via the synth or via the software. Create a new song. Fifths, and just put one in there just to show how you do it. So it's created, and then let's just drag and drop that down into fifths, drop it in. So if I come back on here, I should have another song called Fifths, and that's got just one preset in it. And all these are from a Pigments sound bank I created. So you can see up on the top right here, they're all in Pigments. So if you've got Pigments, you can go and edit it. So let's edit part 1. You can go in and edit everything that we've got in there. So let's load a factory preset. Let's go into Instruments, Prophet 5. Let's find a nice pad or something. And we can see it's loaded that into the software. If we come back and back, edit the preset. So editing the preset is editing the effects and the macros. And if you've got the license for the software, you can edit the software as well. But just to show you what the macros do, on this patch, brightness is just the cutoff. Timbre is oscillator 1 and 2 pulse width. Time doing something on the filter envelope. And then movement adding LFO. But they do different things depending on the patches. Let's load another patch. In fact, well, we'll stick on that actually, stick on the Prophet 5. Prophet keys, load that. Brightness is now the envelope amount. The filter envelope amount, the timbre is polymod amount. Time is just the attack on the filter envelope. And movement. It's adding a delay, isn't it? So to edit that, we can go in macros and we can edit the macros. So movement, there you go. Effects 3 and effect 1. And I've not mentioned the effects yet. We've got 2 insert effects and 2 send effects. The sends are a delay and a reverb, and the insert FXA and FXB, and we can edit these. So if we go into shift and edit, we've got, I think it's 12 different types of effects on the inserts. Distortion chorus, flanger, phaser, stereo pan, analog phaser. And if we go into edit each of these, we've got various functions that we can go into there. And if we edit the delay, we've got 3 types of delays. Go in and edit the various parameters in there. If we edit the reverbs, we've got a fair few reverbs in there. Edit the parameters, you get the idea. And those parameters are all reflected on these little stomp boxes that we've got here. So, all pretty seamless this, it all works together. What doesn't, however, work as seamlessly is if you're editing the synth. So if I open the synth, I'm changing the cutoff, but it's not doing anything on the hardware. And that's because you have to save the synth onto the software first. So you have to save the preset in here first, and then you've got to drop the preset from whichever bank you've saved it in into a bank down here. So save something into a user bank, and let's see if I can drop Dorothy Parker into Starsky Sounds. Here it goes. But if we go into the Starsky Synthwave bank, I don't think it's saved in there now because it's in the playlist. So I've got to go to playlists, back, Unison Fifths, in we go, Dorothy Parker, there she is. So yeah, not quite as slick as you'd like. Coming back to the effects though, we've got effects on and off buttons. Also what we can do here, if we come back into, say this unison song, when we're in playlist mode, so you can either have it as you're selecting different types of instruments, or playlist mode, and then you're selecting 0, 1, 2. So if I come back actually and go to a whole bank of stuff, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's why selecting them and putting them into banks or songs of 10 is quite handy. What playlist mode, hit piano, and then you've got a selection of pianos, but you do have an awful lot to go through. And some of them take a little while to load, obviously, if they've got samples in there. So this one's got sample. Don't know what the sample is, but this one's a quick one. Nice sounds though, aren't they? Electric pianos. Could sit and play this all day, to be honest. Well, in fact, I was trying to get this video out earlier and I just couldn't do it because I kept on getting lost, just enjoying myself with it. Beautiful. Yeah, anyway, you get the idea. So basses, leads, keys, pads. Ooh. So this is a synclavier and a fairlight. It cost you more than a street full of houses, this back in the 80s. Heard that before, yeah, but get the idea. Sequenced ones. In fact, we've got some nice, I should just play you these because I was having fun with them. Artists, Duran. Where's it gone? Where it's always been. After the Doors, Hungry Like the Wolf. Small things, eh? And on the left, we've got octaves, and we've got pitch bends, and modulation. So I think that sort of covers the interface. I think I've been through all the sounds, how you access them, what you can do with them, how it integrates with the software. So yeah, I think I've covered just about everything. Can't all be good. There are a few things I think that are missing in this. Things like a sequencer. We've got this nice little looper and it's quite handy for jotting down little ideas, but if you wanted specific sequences for a specific track, if you're playing out live, for example, getting them to loop properly is quite difficult, to be honest. That's my playing, I have to admit, but I just can't quantize things. To get the first note isn't quite right and stuff like this. The loop just sounds a bit odd. So it'd be nice if you could go in, dig into that, or even do something on the software to make that a little bit more polished. And accessing all these presets is a little bit daunting, to be honest. If we go through, there's just so many of them. Obviously, there's 1,300 already in there, and if you do add your own other 990 or 1,000, difficult to get to them sometimes. And I've just had a little bit of difficulty or confusion trying to work out the playlist and the songs and trying to get stuff from the playlist into the songs. The playlist has turned up as a sound bank here, which is quite cool. I didn't realize that was happening. We go into there, we've got some of my pigment sounds, but organising all those into songs with less than 10 sounds in each of them, so you've got quick access to the ones that you want. is a little bit daunting, to be honest. Maybe that's just because there's so many of them, or maybe it's because it's a new synth and I'm just trying to wrap my head around it, but it just feels a little bit like, what? How do I get that piano back? Obviously you can like stuff. We press it down here. There we go, we can like that. But I know I'm going to end up with hundreds of liked presets because there's hundreds of great tones in here. But while I'm talking about the software and the hardware integration, higher level of integration like you get between the Microfreak and the Microfreak software would be better. I did a video with the Microfreak demonstrating the new update, and I played the whole thing, not realizing I was playing the software, not the hardware. That's how close that is, and I think it'd be much nicer if they could do, I don't know why they can't, but if they could do that, it'd just make things a little bit slicker. So as you're playing this, you're changing the software and it's changing the tone on this, and then just save it on this. That will be a lot simpler. But I think that's completely missing the point of this. This is intended as a preset tweaker, I think. You've got access to 7,000 tones in Astrolabe. If you can't get something close from there that you can tweak with the macros, maybe you're doing something wrong. But for nerds like me, I just think it'd be nice for 1,600 euros if you could use this as a dongle almost. So even if you don't own the V collection, while you're using Astrolabe Pro with this plugged in, you can go in, edit the sounds and save them. I'm not sure if there's a technical reason why you can't do that. And I think on Roland Cloud or on the Zencore, on all those instruments, I think you have to have Roland Cloud before you can go in and edit them. So maybe that's just a thing these companies do now. But yeah, maybe it's just me being a complete nerd and liking to go in and edit everything. And I've got the V collection, so it's not an issue for me. But if you don't, it might be. Anyway, all in all, a fantastically good sounding synth. To have all this in one package that you can stick in a bag and take to a gig is really unbelievable. The sounds really are amazing. The sounds that aren't as good as other things perhaps might be things like the pianos and the organs. If you've got a Nord and you want really like specific piano sounds and organ sounds and have access to all the drawbars on the organs, maybe that's the sort of thing you could get. But if you want all those synth sounds and access to all those samples and pianos and organs and electric pianos and all the rest of it, this really does sound amazing. I think it's a really nice bit of kit, and it's a nice thing for Arturia to have brought everything together after 25 years. So well worth a look if you're after something for your gigs. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, please think about subscribing, ring the bell, join me over on Patreon. The channel's funded by Patreon, my wonderful patrons, and YouTube ads. And for the price of a dodgy, lukewarm, iffy coffee per month, you get access to patches, samples, and lots of other little goodies. Also, do take a look at my Starsky Car website, where I've got patches, I've got samples, I've got stuff you can download and pay for, and I've got stuff you can download for free. But it's nice if people pick up even some of the just cheaper little sample packs like the TR-606 through different distortions. That's only £3, is it, or $3? You know, it's less than a coffee, and it just all helps to support the channel. Anyway, share the love. Thanks for staying to the very end. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you next time.